How many times have you caught yourself saying that you don't have enough time or there isn't enough time in the day? Is this really the truth? We all have dreams and goals that we want to accomplish, but without the right focus and energy, it can be hard to make them a reality. It's easy to become overwhelmed by obstacles and or lose motivation along the way. With the right tools and strategies, you can ignite your path toward success by using focus and energy as powerful tools in your life. You will be able to set achievable goals, stay motivated on your journey, and overcome any obstacle that may come up. Today, we're going to discuss how to use focus and energy to create financial freedom, and not only financial freedom, but freedom overall in your life and create the life you desire. Hello, and welcome to Rise to Your Money Power, where we have honest conversations to empower you around your relationship with money. I'm Pamela Plick, and I'm on a mission to empower women to confidently build wealth from the inside out. I help purpose-driven women to overcome feeling anxious, overwhelmed, or stuck related to their personal relationship with money so that they can become more confident, achieve peace of mind, financial freedom, and impact without fear. And I do this through my signature programs and services, my events, as well as creating community. Financial freedom is something that many of us strive for, and by using focus and energy to create it, we can make it a reality. When we focus our attention on what we want to achieve and put our energy into making that happen, incredible things tend to happen. The first way to use focus and energy to create financial freedom is to set boundaries. We all have limited time and energy, and setting boundaries is essential for making sure that we don't overextend ourselves. This means saying no without feeling guilty when something isn't a priority or will take away from you achieving your goals. It also means being mindful of how much time you spend on tasks that don't help you get closer to your financial freedom. And it's interesting, as women, we have a tendency to take care of everyone else before we take care of ourselves. That's just historically how we typically are raised. And that's actually one of the archetypes. When I talked about the 8 money archetypes, and if you haven't watched that video, I would suggest you go back and look at that. One of the major archetypes is the martyr. The martyr takes care of everyone else before she takes care of herself. And that interferes, even to the detriment of her achieving the financial security that she wants to achieve. So setting boundaries will help you to protect your time and energy so that you can use them on what matters most. And as I said, setting boundaries can be difficult because it means having to potentially sacrifice social activities, recreational activities, and saying no to those loved ones that we may not want to be able, or may not be able to support at that particular time. And we're sacrificing this for the sake of our own financial freedom and financial security. It actually requires a great amount of self-discipline and dedication to ensure that your efforts aren't wasted. To make sure that you're using your time effectively, it's important to create a plan and to stick to it. This plan should not only start with your vision, your values, but also outline your goals, what steps you need to take to reach them, and how long it will take you. And once the plan is in place, make sure you stick to it And don't give up if there are setbacks along the way. And we'll talk about in a few minutes what to do to overcome obstacles. The first thing is to identify your limits. First of all, it's really hard to set boundaries if we don't know what they are. So each of us has different limits that we're willing to accept, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, or emotional limits. So it's important to just start by writing those down so we identify what they are. And that way we're better able to stick to it. Think about what makes you feel stressed and uncomfortable. What are you willing to tolerate? And what things are not okay with you? Once you have a list of your limits, then you'll have a better idea of what type of boundaries you need to set. The next way to set boundaries is really to say no without giving a reason. No is a complete sentence. I know we don't always think about it like that, but when we say no, we have a tendency to want to explain all the reasons why we can't do whatever was requested of us. But a great tip is to just say no without giving a reason. Have you ever noticed when you want to say no to something and you feel like you need to give an excuse? You know, that often leads us to making up an excuse or leaving us feeling guilty afterwards. Or maybe sometimes, I know I used to be really guilty of this. I would first say yes, even though I knew I really didn't want to do it. And then I'd have to go back and say, you know, I really didn't want to do this. I don't know why I said yes to it. And then ended up saying no later on. So just say no, and no is a complete sentence. So, but learning to say no without giving a reason is a healthier approach. You don't owe anyone any explanation for not wanting to do something or accept something, or, you know, or accepting a behavior. It might be tough to follow at first, but you'll be surprised at how free you feel when you start saying no without an explanation. The next thing as part of setting boundaries is to give yourself permission. The main thing that's setting us back from creating boundaries is self-doubt, fear, guilt. It could be that you're worried about the other person's response, or maybe you feel like you should be able to cope with doing certain things, so you don't really feel comfortable saying no. Give yourself permission to set those boundaries, realize that setting boundaries is healthy, and just move forward. And especially when it comes to our finances, setting boundaries is so important. You know, for those of us who are mothers, or, you know, we have other family members who come to us when they need help, it can be difficult, you know, to say no. But the best thing that you can do, especially for a child that has a lot of an adult child with a lot of financial need for support, is to let them know that the best thing that I can do for you is not to be a burden in my older years, and work with them to get them self-sufficient, you know, so that they can support themselves. And lastly, not only do boundaries contribute towards better relationships, because we teach people how to treat us. So setting those boundaries creates a better, healthier relationship with others. And they also build up our self-worth as well. The next thing is to step back from toxic relationships. The best thing that you can do for your financial freedom, your life freedom, is to get rid of toxic relationships, and many of us have those types of relationships in one form of it for another, whether it's unhealthy relationships with our friends or family, or stepping back is one of the best ways to build up those boundaries. If a relationship is no longer serving you, then taking a step back is one of the most rewarding things that you can do for yourself. It's never selfish or cruel to put yourself first in a toxic relationship. If anything, it's necessary for your happiness and your well-being. By setting boundaries and sticking to a plan, you can make sure that your time and energy is used effectively, and you can get closer to achieving the financial freedom, not only the financial freedom, but also the life that you deserve and peace of mind. The second way to use focus and energy to create freedom, financial freedom, is to manage your time more effectively. This means planning ahead, prioritizing tasks, delegating whenever possible, and taking breaks when you need them. All of these strategies work together to give you the best chance of reaching your goal in a timely manner, while still maintaining mental health and well-being throughout the process. Taking regular breaks can also restore focus when things start to become overwhelming or tedious. I was in a workshop recently with one of my friends and colleagues. It was about managing your energy. And we talked about the importance of taking reset breaks throughout the day. And I typically took, the normal reset, in the morning with my spiritual practice, lunchtime, and then at the end of the day. And what I realized is I needed another reset break. And so it's important to keep that energy up. I noticed that mid-afternoon, it's kind of like, okay, I need to really focus and reset my energy so that I can power through the rest of my day. And so that's so important, to take that reset break, and whatever rejuvenates you, whether it's maybe looking at a funny video, or listening to music, meditating, whatever's going to help you in terms of resetting your energy so that you can stay focused on achieving the goals that you want to achieve. Planning ahead, prioritizing tasks, and delegating when possible can help ensure that you are using your energy to the best of your ability. And so when setting realistic deadlines for yourself, it can also help you to stay on track and give you the sense of accomplishment as you reach your goals. A couple of other tips in this area is to write it down. My philosophy is, if it's not written down on paper, it's not going to happen. So it's writing things down are so important, because we have a tendency to forget, and because we didn't write it down, and that wastes a lot of valuable time and effort. And so when you write things down, the mind, it helps our mind as well as our body activity. This helps us to remember that particular task. Plus, you also have to build in a reminder that you can refer to when or if you forget details or specifics. And again, seeing things down on paper also helps you to prioritize. And in addition to writing things down, it's important to prioritize tasks as well. In order to prioritize your tasks and events, you need to know what must be done, right? What needs to be done, what you want to do, why it's important to you, where are the priorities, and when it needs to be done. So putting things in order of what should be done first is important as well. And putting things down on paper is key to getting your life prioritized. Don't simply make a to-do list. Write things down in order of importance and priority. And if you have to, you can number those items. This will drive home the point of how important one item is over another. And continue to write down what needs to be done and focus on one thing at a time. What's the next important step that I need to take? Whether it's related to my work, it's related to my personal life, or even related to my finances. What's the next step that I need to take to move my finances forward? Another tip is to avoid procrastination. And we have a tendency when we're looking at the big picture, we're thinking about, oh my goodness, I need to get all of these things done. This is where I want to be. We get overwhelmed. So a big way to overcome procrastination is to break things down into small steps or small chunks. And even the most highly successful people don't deal with procrastination that often. But for us, as a rule, it is a reality. So some of the tips to deal with procrastination are: number one, allow a few minutes of guilty pleasures each day, but put a timer on it. So when you start feeling distracted or you're feeling overwhelmed, take a few minutes to kind of reset, again, that reset of your energy, and put a time, put it into your time, that time into your day. Set a schedule for checking, like, for example, those of us that are on social media, social media can certainly be a time suck if you if you spend a lot of time on social media. But it's a good idea to set a schedule. Say, I'm going to spend a half an hour on a day on social media. Block it into your calendar, and that's the time. Get rid of all of those notifications related to social media, notifications, emails, whatever else might distract you from more important tasks that you need to take care of. And then again, in addition to setting a time for social media tasks, also set a time when you're going to check email or return emails as well. I'm a big fan. The last tip is time blocking. I'm a big fan of time blocking. If you look at my calendar, I have all of the big chunks, the big rocks that they're on my calendar. I have time set aside for each of those things that I know I need to accomplish within the week. And part of that is my financial, maybe setting up Financial Friday or even Money Monday, and setting aside a time, whether it's an hour a week or 2 hours a week, that you are going to take care of those financial tasks that you need to take care of. And what that does is it helps you to stay focused, and that, okay, this is my time that I'm going to work on this particular project, or this is the time that I'm going to review my checking account activity. I'm going to work on my expense report, or whatever it might be, or make sure that, checking my statements, or whatever that might be. Having that time set aside for that, and time blocking. And I also want to mention here too that I'm also a big fan of, let's use technology. We can set up online calendars. I know some of us like to still use paper calendars to put our time blocks in or activities in, but you can still use the paper if that's what, you like that. But it's good to have it also electronically, have it on your computer so that you could see, you can be anywhere because you can check that on your phone as well. So you have easy access to whatever it is that you need to do. And so we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Let's use technology to help us in terms of being organized and getting certain tasks done. The third way to use focus and energy to create financial freedom is to overcome obstacles. No matter how well you plan, there are always going to be obstacles and setbacks along the way. Even if we're creating a comprehensive financial plan, if I create that type of plan for a client, it's not designed to, to eliminate obstacles along the way, but it is designed so that you can overcome those obstacles easily because you plan for the unexpected. And so it's important to remember that these are normal parts of our life, and you don't have to hold back, or they don't have to hold you back from reaching your goal. Learning from mistakes and using them as a lesson to help you stay on track is a great way to keep yourself motivated and focused. And when obstacles arise, it's important to take a step back and evaluate the situation. So ask yourself, what went wrong? How can you prevent it from happening again? And how can you move forward? How can you confidently move forward? So taking some time to reflect can also help uncover any underlying issues that may be causing the obstacle or may be hindering your ability to make progress. The fourth way to use focus and energy is to invest in yourself with knowledge, skills, connections, and mentorship. Investing in yourself will help you gain confidence, the confidence necessary to achieve success. There's a saying that knowledge is power. Now, I don't 100% agree with that. What you do with the knowledge, so your use of the knowledge is what is powerful, because we all have a lot of knowledge. Just because you have the knowledge doesn't mean that you're going to move forward, or, it's not going to help you unless you actually take action on that knowledge. So investing in yourself will give you an edge over those who aren't currently working on developing their education or development, which eventually will lead you to greater opportunities for growth and the financial freedom that you desire down the road. Investing in yourself is incredibly important when it comes to finding financial freedom and security. It can be something as simple as enrolling in a financial literacy course, or maybe even a basic investing course, networking with other professionals, and even seeking out mentors that can provide valuable service and guidance. And learning new things not only will help you stay ahead of the curve, but it also can be incredibly motivating and inspiring as well. So making sure that you get that invest in yourselves and get that education that you need, is so important to also helping us overcome procrastination. Because the number one reason that women procrastinate is due to fear. And that fear is the fear of making a mistake. So by investing in yourself and getting that education and the tools and skills that you need, that will help you confidently move forward on your, not only your financial journey, but on your journey of life as well. The fifth way to use focus and energy to create financial freedom is to stay organized, on track, and accountable. By staying organized, on track, and accountable, it helps you to stay focused and it helps you to take consistent action towards your goals. Staying organized is an essential part of achieving financial freedom when you have a plan in place. It's easier to stay on track and make sure that you're taking the necessary steps that you need to take to reach your goal. Additionally, staying accountable, whether it be through an accountability partner, maybe a larger group, a community of women that are on the same journey as you, that can help you stay motivated and on task. So knowing that someone is watching or holding you accountable can help you can be incredibly beneficial when it comes to achieving success. Couple of tips related to organizing. You know, it's important. We're going to put all the big rocks. We talked about putting all the big rocks on the calendar. It's also important to put yourself on the calendar, making sure that you set aside time to support you, whether it's self-care, you know, because without self-care, we can't take care of the other things that we need to do. So make sure that you put yourself on the calendar. Don't sweat the small stuff. You know, sometimes it's all small stuff. You need to focus on what you can control and let the rest go. If it's something that you can't control, then you don't need to worry about it. But if it's something that's within your control, then that's when you can take a look and say, what can I do to turn this around? Also, don't look at major projects like a mountain. You know, we talked about getting, you know, getting overwhelmed, but, you know, it's like taking one step at a time, and just the next right step is what you want to focus on. And then before you know it, you've achieved your goals. Divide your time or your day into manageable blocks. And we talked earlier about those time blocks. And it's important to reward yourself. You know, for milestones, you know, either big milestones or small milestones. So whenever you achieve a goal or you completed a step, build in some celebration into your plan. And use the system for reward for little goals, you know, as well as big ones. And when you meet those larger goals, then treat yourself to something special. Creating financial freedom is possible when you focus your attention on what you want and put forth the effort to make it happen by setting boundaries and improving your time management skills, investing in yourself with knowledge, skills, and connections, as well as staying organized and on track and accountable. Then you can find the power of focus and energy necessary to create the financial freedom you desire, but also the life that you deserve. With these strategies under your belt and taking consistent action towards your goals each day, achieving success will be in reach. Now, I'd like to give you or ask you to take some time to reflect on your current relationship with money and ask yourself these 3 questions to help give you clarity and motivate you into action. Number 1, what are the 3 financial goals that I want to achieve this year? Number 2, how can I use my knowledge, skills, and connections to become financially free? And lastly, what strategies do I need to stay organized, motivated, and on track to reach my financial goals? If you would like to learn more about your relationship with money and how it might be preventing you from taking action, I invite you to take my free money type quiz. It only takes 5 minutes to complete and can change your life. Just go to PamelaPlick.com/thank you. That's PamelaPlick.com/thank you. And then after you take the quiz, check out my other free tools and resources that can help you to start unlocking your financial freedom and setting you up for long-term financial success. And as we wrap up, I'd like to leave you with this quote. Focus and energy can unlock the door to financial freedom. It takes intention, purpose, and drive to make it happen. So stay motivated, be willing to learn from mistakes, and invest in yourself in order to reach your goals. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. And until next time, remember, you can rise to your money power.